Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. MC Mura here, and in today's video I am going to teach you all about Lucia and how you can use her in the 5th season of Street Fighter V. So let's get started. So what type of character is Lucia? Well, in my opinion, Lucia is a jack of all trades style character. She is a character who will do a little bit of everything but never really excelling at anything. Let's start talking first about her highlights, what I think she's good at, and the two things that jump straight at me are her anti-airs. That's because all three of her DBs, all three of these are dedicated anti-airs, which are unusual in Street Fighter V. This means that they will always be jumping attacks, so this is really good. The crouching heavy punch is also pretty strong, and the standing light kick is pretty decent as an anti-air. So she have good anti-air game. Plus her jumping game herself is actually really good. This jumping heavy kick in particular is fantastic. It have a really good downwards angle, so it will trade or beat many anti-air normals. Her jumping medium kick is a really good cross-up as well. As you can see, the hitbox is kinda stupid on that. So both of these elements are really good. She does have good frame data for close pressure. So for example, she has 3 frames that you can throw after. Her standing medium punch, this is 5 frames. So this is really good, and it's +3 on block. So this enables her to play this kind of walk-up pressure game, because 5 frames +3 is excellent for pressure. She also have a really decent corner game, because in the corner you can kinda throw loop here, and it's not a true throw loop, of course. Your opponent can jab, but then you can hit him meaty and, you know, go for the shimmy, the traditional Street Fighter V stuff. She's a very traditional Street Fighter V character. Now let's talk about what she kinda suffers in. The thing about Lucia is that her normals are pretty short. They often refer to her as stubby, and that's because her normals are kinda short. They don't hit where you expect them to hit. Like you can see, it's kinda short, so this is not very good. As an active poking character, she kinda sucks in that regards. Her normals are actually good for whiff punishing and counter poking. So for example, if we here have Balrog try to do some normals, as you can see, this is good as whiff punish. The crouching medium punch is also pretty good as whiff punishing. So you can actually get some good whiff punishes here. So her normals are not bad for a counter poke whiff punish game, but for trying to get in and for trying to pressure your opponent, it's not the best. She also has some trouble against fireball zoning, so characters like Guile will give her issues. She has a slide, but this can be massively unsafe, and her fireball is kinda hard to use in fireball wars. You can absolutely use it, but it's not a great zoning tool itself. Also, the thing about Lucia, in my opinion, is that her Oki on the standard combos is fairly weak. That's because out of this crouching medium kick, you only get to connect this meterless, and as you can see, there is a big separation. If they back rise this, they are really far away and you can pressure after. The same kind of with her DB. Most of her conversion, especially the meterless one, doesn't leave you in good situation for follow-ups, which is unfortunate. She is not considered to be a very strong character, but she is a pretty fun character. Also, she has this run. The run is a special move, so you can kinda toy around with this, play a run stop pressure game, and then maybe go for grabs. So that part of it is interesting, but overall, she's a pretty standard Street Fighter V character, and in my opinion, aside from her kind of weird combo routes, she is a pretty simple and straightforward character. So as usual, let's start to talk about her normal attacks, and I am going to start with the lights as always, and let's start to talk about her crouching light punch. Her crouching light punch is her 3 frame attack, so this is the fastest attack she has, and the fastest a normal can be in Street Fighter V. Having a 3 frame is always really good, especially on defense. This crouching light is special cancelable, so you can do whatever after it. It is also a good tech grab, you can use it and then throw them after. so it is pretty decent in that regard. It combos into itself, so if Ryu here was not blocking, as you can see, this is a 2-hit, and then you can cancel this into the V skill 1, or you can combo this into her medium kick DB. These are the best combo routes from the crouching light punch. Now, one of the issues about Lucia, in my opinion, is that she doesn't get good conversion from lights. When you combo into V skill 1, you are kinda... This distance is fine, you can micro walk into grab, but it is not the best, because your opponent obviously can walk backwards, but you still have +2 advantage, so it's not too bad. The uppercut does good damage, but if they back rise, like you see, they are completely out. So her jab conversions sadly are not that amazing. Her crouching light kick is a standard crouching light kick. It is neutral on block, so it's not that great. You can take after, like you're saying, but because it's neutral on block, you are likely not gonna be doing that. It's 4 frames, of course. The main purpose of this is just to have a low check, so you can do something like this, and then combo into your typical V skill or uppercut. The crouching light kick is pretty generic. It's nothing that special. Her last 2 lights are the standing light punch and the standing light kick. Standing light punch is 4 frames, and this is interesting because this have a target combo attached to it. This is light punch, light kick, medium kick, heavy kick. As you can see, light punch, light kick, medium kick, heavy kick. And if you, instead of doing the heavy kick, if you do down plus heavy punch, she will throw them backward for a side switch, so you will get something like this. For a 4 frames, this actually does decent amount of damage. As you can see, it does an alright amount of damage. For the confirm, the Oki is not fantastic again, but if you do the back throw version, you're doing almost 170 damage, 280 stun, so it's not terrible. But sadly, you cannot combo into this from the crouching light punch. This crouching light punch to standing light punch doesn't combo, and the thing about the standing light punch is that if you hit this from maximum range, the target combo might actually whiff, as you see. So even if I did the target combo correctly from max range, this is prone to whiffing. It's not terrible, like Cody's is a lot worse when it comes to whiffing, even if the first attack connects, but be wary, be sure that this is a thing that might happen. Her last and final normal is her standing light kick, and standing light kick is pretty strong for many reasons. First of all, this is a good anti-air, so if we here had Ryu try to jump at us, you will find that this is decent as an anti-air, so that's pretty good. It is 5 frames startup, so it is not terribly fast for a light, but that is still pretty good. What this is really good for is pressure and, you know, hit confirming and pressuring on wake up. So this is only +1. It's 5 frames, it's only +1, but it leaves you in throw range, so you can throw after, right? What makes this really strong in my opinion is the fact that on counter hits you can get a full conversion into mediums, and you get a really good conversion here. One of the biggest issues with Lucia, like I said, the crouching light punch. So the thing about this is, we said that you can use this to take grab, crouching light punch, and then throw after. So if you happen to land this as a counter hit, what's gonna happen sadly is this. You will not be in range to do standing medium punch into crouching medium punch. The standing light kick has less pushback, so you will be getting this. And you wanna combo into the run V skill, because this is one of her best knockdowns for maintaining Oki. So the thing about this is this take grabs, and you also get to have more, you know, more beneficial counter hit conversion, because I can get this now. And I can again be in a really good Oki situation. So this will whiff, but this will continue, or combo I mean, which makes it a more appealing pressure tool, especially on wake up. So if I knock them down, I am much more inclined to go for the standing light kick. And like we said, it also is a move that you can do and then throw them after. It have a good amount of pushback for you to be able to do this. Even on block, you can get to do some sequences like these. You can get to do some stuff like that. The issue about it is that because it's 5 frames, and it's only +1. It's not recommended to try to use it by itself multiple times in a row, so I would do something like this, or maybe something like this. You know, you have to try to mix it up, but because it is more you know, there is less pushback, as you are seeing, you can actually get some extended range on your block strings with it. Standing light kick is pretty decent. Crouching light punch is pretty decent. The others are kind of a mixed bag. Overall, her lights are not terrific. Now let's discuss Lucia's mediums, and the highlight of them in my opinion is the standing medium punch. This normal is pretty great. This is gonna be the normal that you are going to start your pressure and combos with. It's because this attack is 5 frame startup. 5 frame is fantastic for a medium, by the way. This is like a best case scenario thing. Having a 5 frame medium, superb. So 5 frames, which is pretty strong. It combos into crouching medium punch, it combos into crouching medium kick, and it combos into crouching heavy punch, which is all fantastic. That means that you can get really strong conversions here. You can combo into the run shoulder, you can combo into crouching medium punch into the run V skill, and these are both really good situations to be in. When you combo into the run shoulder, you can throw them after, you can shimmy at the situation, and you know, repeat it. The crouching medium punch combos into the run into V skill 1, and this is one of her absolutely one of her best knockdowns. So this standing medium punch, if you manage to land it to hit, it enables her to do really good things. And one of the better things about it is that it also combos into her standing heavy on counter hit. So even if you manage to land this as a counter hit from a little bit of a distance, like that one, you will be able to combo into the standing heavy punch. So this is also really good, because then you can get some decent conversions. So standing medium punch is the normal that you are going to be using a lot in pressure, in combos. You're gonna be doing a lot of this with Lucia. Woke up standing medium punch, woke up standing medium punch, because it also frame traps into itself. It's special cancelable, so you can kinda cheese with it like that. It's a very decent normal overall, absolutely one of her best. The second one that is also pretty decent in my opinion is the crouching medium punch. The crouching medium punch is pretty important for Lucia. This is because it is the normal that you can use to get a good meterless knockdown, because of this knockdown in particular. The best thing about this is that you can do this and get it fairly consistently, and this enables her or put Lucia in a good OK situation. The thing about this is that you can also combo it into the EX run shoulder, which again is a really good knockdown, because then you can loop it into this one and pressure there after it. And it's also a pretty strong whiff punish and counter poke tool. So for example, if we here had you even look at this distance, you can counter poke him from here and get some good conversions like that, or combo into the run shoulder and then get whatever, or even combo into the regular run V skill if you are close enough. Overall, good whiff punish tool, can lead to really good damage. The issue with it though is that it is pretty short and unreliable when it comes to combo. So for example, if I'm neutral jumping here, this might whiff, as you can see. So even from really up close like that, standing medium punch to crouching medium punch is pretty finicky. This is unfortunate, because if this normal had a tiny bit more range, it would have honestly been a top tier normal, because it is almost there. This normal is almost great, but you know, it is what it is. Now her other normals are the kicks, of course, the standing medium and the crouching medium kick. Standing medium kick is again a poke. This is a typical poke like many of the other standing medium kicks in Street Fighter V. Again, doesn't have the range that you would expect it to have. It's a little bit shorter than I feel like it should be, but the frame data on it is actually pretty great, because this is -2. Most of the standing medium kicks like it are -4, so you can use it. They try to punish or extend the limb, then counter poke with standing heavy. And one of the better thing about this is that on counter hit, you can actually link a crouching medium punch after. So as you can see, this will be +5, so you can get then a crouching medium into this knockdown. This is pretty good for situations where your opponent is poking or trying to hit you with a forward moving attack. So for example, if we here had Ryu try to hit the solar plex, which happens a lot in matches of course, you might get a conversion like that out of a counter hit, which is not really common for medium kicks of the kind. So it have a decent situational uses like this, but it is not, again, the range is not where it should be. The frame data is nice, but the range is, you know, just a tiny bit more, and it would have been a great normal. Again, it's just on the edge of greatness, but not there. And sadly, the same can be said about her crouching medium kick. This actually have good range, but again, the biggest issue with this attack is that the meterless conversions are really weak. So meterless, you get the light kick Tatsu, or the light kick to, you know, fire spinner, which is not bad, but this is only 104 damage, -4 on block. You can get the run into the up kicks, again, which doesn't lead into good OK situation. The only really great things that you can get out of this crouching medium kick is out of using EX bar. So you can do into the EX Tatsu, the fire spinner, and then you can combo like a heavy DB after this. Or you can use it and combo into the EX run V skill 1. So you can get this. And this was a really good knockdown. So again, just like the many things with Lucia, it's almost there. If this comboed meterless, Lucia would have been an awesome character. I feel like this should work, honestly, because you know, many other characters like Karen and Cammy get some really strong meterless knockdowns. She doesn't, sadly, but you know, what are you gonna do? Overall, her normals are almost great, almost, but not quite there yet. So now let's start to talk about Lucia's heavy normals, and I'm going to start with the heavy punch. Her heavy punch actually is a pretty good normal. It does offer a lot of utility. It is absolutely one of her best whiff punish tools and counter pokes. So even if Ryu is whiffing from this distance, as you can see, we can whiff punish him and combo, and with this you pretty much get to combo whatever you want at this point. You can comfortably combo into the run shoulder, even from large distances like that. Of course, you can always get the EX one if you wanted. So as a counter punish or a counter poke or a whiff punish tool, it is actually really strong. This also is gonna be used a lot in counter hit conversion. So we said that we are gonna use the standing medium punch to fish in pressure, and on counter hit you can hit confirm it into the standing heavy punch, which, like we said earlier, will combo into pretty much anything. So it is a very good normal in that regard. Now this is also gonna be your main shimmy tool. So for example, if we here had Ryu try to block everything and try to shimmy out or try to throw tick, you will be doing a lot of that with Lucia. It is your main shimmy tool because on block it's safe, it's -2, and in a situation like that, even if Ryu doesn't go for the attempt, you can just, you know, do it, and at -2 you're safe. It's pretty easy to hit confirm as well. So it is gonna be your main shimmy tool. So this is a good whiff punish, a good counter poke, a good move to counter hit confirm into, and your main shimmy option. And if you happen to land this, especially in the corner, you can actually get some really high damaging combos. You can get some stuff like that with you know, with bar. You can get to combo something like this, which is really high damage. Even from a jump in, for example, you can get something like that, which is very strong. So standing heavy punch is absolutely probably her best normal, I would say. The other really strong one is her crouching heavy punch, and this is also very good. First of all, this is a pretty good anti-air. So if we had Ryu here try to jump at us, you will find that the angle is actually really good. It hits directly above her head, which is pretty decent. It is a reliable enough anti-air for a normal, I would say, especially for a character who have a DP. Lucia have a DB, so she doesn't really have to rely on the crouching heavy punch as much, but it is there, it is pretty good in that regard. One cool thing about this is that it's because of its special cancelable, you can side switch with this. So you can cancel it into the run and then stop, and be able to get a form of a mix-up, or even just side switch with something like that here. Just be careful, because when you are running under them, typically when you are running, you will run, do the quarter circle forward plus punch and run, and then back to stop. But because you are running and they had already crossed side, you will be pressing forward. So here I am pressing right. As you can see, I did the run and then pressed right to stop running. As you can see, it's kind of tricky because the replay keep repeating, but you get my point. So this is very good. It's also combos from the standing medium punch, which is excellent. You get this on regular hit. You don't even have to get this on counter hit, which is really strong, because this allows you to combo into the run shoulder, which again will set up this really good +2 in throw range, you know, or +3 in throw range situation, where you can combo into jab if you want, or just go straight for a shimmy or a throw. So this is pretty fantastic in all regards. It's kind of like her standing heavy punch, but you get it, of course, from a much closer distance, and as a natural combo from her standing medium punch. The third normal is the standing heavy kick. Standing heavy kick is a bit weird. The range is fine, it's not bad. The recovery is a little bit long, 22 frames of recovery is a bit much, but it is 13 frame startup, so the startup is not awful. There are worse, it's not fantastic either. The startup is really middle of the road. On crush counter, you can actually dash up and get a target combo here, which is nice. If you're up close, you can combo standing heavy punch. If you are from a really far distance, you can actually get an EX run here, so you can do something like this and, you know, get a decent combo. So as you can see, even from a distance like that, if I'm willing to spin the bar, I can actually get some pretty good corner carry here. As you can see, I almost carried him to the corner from a crush counter, so there is merits to this standing heavy kick, but again, it is whiff punishable. It is sadly also, you know, block punishable, because this is -4, so if you do it from a wrong distance, you can get punished. But overall, it is pretty decent. It's a pretty decent one, and the reward is pretty fine, especially if you're willing to spend the bar. I like it, honestly. What I don't like very much is her crouching heavy kick, the sweep. The sweep is not terrible, but I think the range on it is not as great as it should be. I would like it to have a little bit more range. It's not awful, but it's not that fantastic either. As you can see, the range is a little bit iffy on it. And this is 9 frames startup, which is a little bit slow. 9 frames is on the slower end when it comes to sweeps in Street Fighter V. But one cool thing about it is that you can get it to combo from standing medium on counter hits, so you can get some conversions like that. And the knockdown on it is actually pretty decent. You can dash up here, even if you remove the crush counter. You can dash up here and you will be +4. So you can actually get some really good Oki things here if you manage to land it. Even on back recovery, it is not bad. You will dash and then walk up, do one dash and then walk into a decent Oki situation. So the reward and hit is not bad, but overall I feel like it should either have a little bit more range or be a little bit faster. I think at 8 frames this would be decent. 9 frames is a bit too slow for what it does. That's my opinion. And what is left with Lucia is her slide. The slide is a command normal. She has 2 command normals. The first is the overhead. This is the forward plus heavy punch. This is a very standard overhead. Of course, it is unsafe. It is -7 like all other overheads. I think the animation is a little bit too unique, which makes it kinda easy to block. Many characters have overheads that kinda look kinda the same like other attacks, like for example Sis have 2 samey looking normals. Lucia, nothing she have her wrenching forward like that, so it is it stands out to me a little bit, which makes it a little bit easy to block in my opinion. But it is a standard overhead. It's what you're gonna be using to end rounds. The range is not fantastic, as you can see, so you'll have to be a little bit closer to do it, but you know, it's a standard overhead. She also has this slide, and the slide is done by doing down forward plus slide kick, holding the down forward direction and doing a light kick. This slide is interesting because on block, best case scenario, you can get it to be neutral on block. If you perfectly space this and hit it on the last active frame like I just did here, it is gonna be neutral on block, which is not bad because this slide actually goes under fireballs. So if we here had Ryu try to go through fireballs, you can slide under it with the slide, so it's not that bad. It is useful in that regard, especially against characters like Ryu. You can use that to close the distance, maybe then be able to get a jump in or whatever you want at that point. One kinda cool thing about this is if you manage to land it and again hit it at the last active frame, hit it at the absolute best perfect range, you can actually be +3 on this and combo a jab like you just seen. So you can get something like this. This was a combo. It's very hard to space. I have honestly not been able to do it in any real matches so far, so it is very hard. The spacing is actually really difficult here. But it is doable, it is something that you have to consider, and even if you didn't space it perfectly on counter hit, you will likely be around +3 or +4, so if you manage to land it a counter hit, I will say go for the jab conversion because you are likely gonna get it, I will say. Even if you manage to perfectly space it, you can actually get a medium here. You can actually get a medium in this situation. You can get it to... here we go. We got the crouching medium punch. So overall, Lucia normals are alright. I wouldn't call them great. I wouldn't call them bad necessarily. There are characters with worse normals in my opinion, but her normals, I want to say they are a little bit disappointing. Because I can see the potential. I could easily tweak them to be great, but sadly they are not there yet. Standing heavy punch is a highlight. Crouching heavy punch is also really good, but you know, overall they are solid. Now we are going to talk about her V skills, and like every other character, Lucia has 2 V skills, and in my opinion V skill 1 is just the superior V skill in almost every way, because it offers Lucia some utility that she really needs and she is lacking without the V skill. One of the most important thing about this is when you do the V skill 1, she does this rapid kick. This is her V skill 1. This is pretty much a special move. You can combo into this from lights. Yeah, it doesn't leave you in throw range, but you are +2 and you can micro walk into a throw here. You can shake them low if they try to walk back. So there are options that you can do. The good thing about this is that when you're comboing into this, like you are seeing below, you are building V gauge. So first of all, this is good. The regular version is good because you are getting a confirm out of lights, and also because you are getting a confirm out of lights into some form of pressure. Because yeah, you can do medium punch hurricane, which is a medium punch TB, but this is bad on back rise. You're not gonna get anything, they are too far away, which sucks. One extra thing that you have to note and know about Lucia is that Lucia gets a version of the V skill out of the run special move. When you do the V skill 1, when you are using V skill 1 and you are cancelling into it from the run, you get this move. And this is one of her best knockdowns. This is one of Lucia's absolute best pressure situation. Not only does it do like as a combo, as you can see, it does good damage. You're getting 191. It's not the best damage ever, but the Oki situation is really good. Like you're seeing, even on back rise, I can get a good knockdown. And the good thing about this is that you're also building V gauge. As you can see, I built like a decent amount of V gauge. This is also really important and good, especially with the EX one. With the EX special move, the EX run into V skill, because this combos from the crouching medium kick. Typically from the crouching medium kick you will get the up kicks, or you get the EX or light, you know, fair spinner or her Tatsu attack. You can get this or this one, and yeah, you get decent combos here. But the thing about this is if you manage to hit confirm this, you can combo into the running V skill. That build does almost a third of a bar of V gauge, which is really good. Now there are 2 other main important factors as to why this V skill is crucial. The first one is that Lucia doesn't have many moves that can special cancel into super. So you can do uppercut into CA, that doesn't work. You can do Tatsu into CA, that doesn't work. You can do the heavy one and then juggle a super here, but you to combo into the heavy tatsu, you will have to, cancel into it from a heavy normal, so either heavy punch or heavy kick. So this is not ideal. Her only special moves that you can use and comfortably cancel into super is the fireballs. This is your best reliable confirm. Now V skill mitigates all of that because her V skill is actually super cancelable. So you can do something like this and cancel into super. If I got a run combo like that, I can cancel into super. So V skill 1 not only gives her good knockdowns, not only put her in good OK situation, you are building V gauge, you're also getting the ability to comfortably combo into super. And last but not least, and this one is huge in my opinion, is the fact that it gives her this. This is by far her best V-trigger activation. This is a bullshit V-trigger activation in my opinion, because even if your opponent is blocking, you can, even from like 3/4 of screen like that, you can activate and you will be at a +3 situation. So you can run into V-skill, you will be a +3 and then you can get to throw them after. You are immediately in a throw mix-up, you forced your way into a throw mix-up. This is by far her best V-trigger activation, and like we said, you can do this from the crouching medium kick as well. On hits you are getting massive damage, and one really important thing about this move is that in V-trigger it also gives you very good combo potential, because you can do something like this and in the corner manage to combo into an uppercut here, and you're getting 350 damage for 1 bar. That is really good. Overall, V-skill 1 is really good. It's not like the best V-skill ever, but it is a core element of Lucia's gameplay. Now, V-skill 2 does offer some interesting other utilities, but for my opinion, it is not, it's not worth it to give up V-skill 1 for it. What V-skill 2 does is a special attack. It is this kick. This is -4 on block, and it is not an overhead or anything, it's just a typical attack. It does have good range, so that is good, and you can use it to hop over fireballs, but you kind of have to do it preemptively. So for example, you might get it to work at something like that. So this is not terrible, but it's not reliable, because if I do it too late, you will get hit like that. So, and again, like you see, there was a lot of recovery, so you might get punished if you whiffed. And from a range like that, if you're gonna do that, you may just as well slide, So this element of it is not that fantastic. You can use it to throw bait your opponent, which is fine. So you can do something like that, but again, you don't get much here, and you're still -4 if they blocked. And you can already do that with her Tatsu, so it's like it's not a big deal. The other and last and main thing kind of about this is that you do get a run into this kick. Out of the run, you get this knee. This is a lesser risk, lesser reward version of her run shoulder. The thing about Lucia is that when you do her run shoulder, her run shoulder is -6 on block. This is -6. So if I try to guess that my opponent will try to mash and I did the shoulder too early, I will be unsafe. -6 in their face. Run into knee is -2 only, so you are safe here. But you also get less reward. So for example, if I do this, I get a combo into medium and I get a full conversion. If I do the crouching heavy punch into the run V skill, yeah, I will get the interruption, but I will be -4. So I will get a combo like that one. So it is a lesser risk, lesser reward version. And sadly, you do lose the ability to combo into critical art. You cannot combo the run knee into critical art. So you lose a lot. You lose a lot. I don't think that V skill 2 is bad in by itself. And in vacuum, it's not a bad V skill, but V skill 1 offers Lucia a good amount of utilities that I think is really hard to ignore. Start to talk about Lucia's normal special moves, and I'm gonna start with her uppercuts. She has 3 versions of the uppercuts like every other character: the light, the medium, and the heavy. And if you notice, the light goes directly up, medium goes like a 45-degree angle, and the heavy is like an aggressive, more forward angle attack. So all three of these are anti-airs. So for example, if we here set Ryu to jump at us, you can absolutely anti-air with all three of them. It's gonna be a spacing thing. If they are a little bit further away, you're gonna want to use the heavy. If they are closer to you, you're gonna use a medium. And if they are closest, use the light. Because the light goes directly above you, it is the best one for close jumps. And of course the EX1 is a completely invincible attack, so if we here set even Ryu to throw a fireball, the EX tornado spinner, this is fully invincible. This is a true uppercut. It is your wake up attack. Her DPs are pretty standard for the most part. One important thing that you have to understand is how to use them in combos. The light is the one you will probably be using the least in combos, because if you try to do 2 jabs to light uppercut, the uppercut will whiff because it goes directly up. So if you're comboing from jabs, you have to use the medium one. The medium one is the one that will combo reliably here. The heavy one is too slow to combo here. So if you're doing the heavy one, it's too slow to combo, it's not gonna link. So you wanna use the medium. The heavy, you can use it to juggle after the EX fire spinner or her EX Tatsu. So if you manage to get this, you can get a heavy uppercut. The thing about her uppercuts though is that they don't lead to great knockdown scenarios mid-screen, especially on back rise. So if we set Ryu to back rise here, they are too far away to go for a throw mix-up. As you can see, the knockdown is not fantastic. You are quite separated from them, but they do still do some decent enough corner carry, and they are reliable anti-airs. So her uppercuts overall I would say are pretty decent. The other special attacks she have is of course the fireball, and Lucia has her fireball is kind of like K-Dash from King of Fighters. There are multiple ways you can use this. The first part, you do a quarter circle forward. As you can see, I'm doing a fireball plus kick, and it is all the same. It doesn't even matter which one version I'm doing. And then you have to input the second part. If you do the light, she will do this arcing upward one. If you do the medium, she will do this one, and this goes full screen. If you do the heavy, she will do the one that goes only half screen but is really quickly. And all three of these have their uses. The thing you have to know first is that the first part actually negates fireballs. So if Ryu is throwing fireball at us, I can just do this and I will be able to negate his fireball. Right? So this is useful. The medium is good because it will jump over the fireball, as you're seeing. If you use the medium, it will go over his Hadouken. You might be able to get a punish. This is gonna depend on the distance. But the issue is, as you're seeing, there is a fair amount of recovery here. So you are not gonna hang in fireball wars versus characters like Ryu, Sagat, Guile. Characters with really good fireball, you are gonna trade here. So it is not the best trade ever, right? The light has some utility though. The light is good, is decent for pressure. I won't say it's amazing anymore. It used to be really good in season 4 in my opinion, but now it is kinda eh. This is because, let's say for example Ryu is blocking his first attack only. We did something like this. Go low, now you're in. You get what I mean. Even if he wasn't blocking this, you can kinda, check them low, now you are in, now you get a combo. So it is good to use for pressure as a kind of a tool to force your way in. The light is also really good at deterring them from jumping in on you, because if your opponent will jumping, you can, when your opponent see you doing this, many times they want to jump in on you, right? It's kinda irritating, so you will try to jump. If they try to jump and you were close enough, you can actually juggle a DB here. You can even juggle the run V skill. So you do get some decent conversions out of this if you manage to land it airborne. And you can also use this attack to threaten them from full screen. This is a good feint because if you happen to do the Tatsu afterward, it will kick it full screen towards them. One kinda cute thing that you have to know is, if you do the EX Tatsu here, you will throw 2 fireballs. So if we here have Ryu try to... I don't think I will ever be able to match Ryu in this. Yeah, but the idea is if you did this, it will be 2 hits pretty much. So you can kinda use it in some very situational situations where you see them doing a fireball, and then you can do this. This will be 2 hits, and it will beat their fireballs. It is kinda cute in that regard. Overall, her fireballs are decent. You wanna use them in your neutral, but you are not gonna rely on them too much. They are more of a feint and annoyance more than a legit strong zoning tool. The heavy one is also pretty good at close range. So for example, from a distance like that, they might try to dash in on you. So the heavy is good to throw out. It's decent in block strings. So for example, if they are blocking like that, I don't want him to jab here. As you can see, this is gonna be safe for the most part. The medium is also safe for the most part. So you wanna use them in block strings, especially the light and the medium and the heavy one. Because you're gonna try to do that, they might try to interrupt you, and that's when you go for the heavy one. The heavy one comes out the fastest. The medium is a little bit slower, and if they are crouching here, this might go over their head. And that's why I was saying that you might wanna use the medium from the heavy from this range. From like half screen range, the heavy is a better version in my opinion. Overall, her fireballs are fine. They are not spectacular, but you have to use them. You will have to get to use them and kind of get a rhythm about how you can use them, because they are, you know, she does have a little bit weaker normals, especially when it comes to range. The final special move she have, and this is probably the biggest element about Lucia, is her run special move. This is done by pressing quarter circle forward plus punch, and she will do this running animation. If you press back during any time during this animation, she will stop. So you can run stop, run stop, run stop, run stop, run stop, you know. You will have to get used to this. It's a little bit weird, but once you get used to it, it's gonna be fine. And there is a little bit of recovery to this, so it's not something, it's not instant. It's kind of like Ken's V-skill or Laura's or stuff like that. You have to run a set distance before you can stop, so there is recovery here, and you have to be careful of that. If you do a punch out of this, she will do the shoulder. If you do a kick, she will do the uppercut kicks. And if you do the V-skill, she will do a variant of your V-skill attack. And all 3 of these attacks are good in their own way and have their own uses. The shoulder is very good to combo into, because this puts you in a +3 situation and you are point blank. So you can get something like this. You can get then combo into jab into V-skill or jab into uppercut, or you can just, you know, throw them afterwards. It puts you in a very favorable situation, right? This is very, very good, but this is unsafe on block. The shoulder, of course, is unsafe on block. In fact, all 3 of these are unsafe on block. Everything she have out of the run is unsafe on block. The thing that you have to also know is that you can use the shoulder to bait interruptions. So for example, if Ryu is trying to interrupt here with his 3-frame, let's here have him blocking. Okay, so he's gonna try to interrupt. I will run stop and he can punish me, right? If I try to do a run and then stop, Ryu will punish me. But if I run into shoulder and I time it right, because there is a little bit of a delay here, I can actually interrupt him for trying to punish me. If only I can get it right. See, here you go. So there is a little bit of an inherent mix-up here. This is, you're gonna have to get a feel about your opponent and their delays, but you can absolutely get to interrupt here. Of course, the training mode model is unrealistic, because the computer will press the jab at the earliest frame. So in reality, people don't really interrupt this soon. There will be a little bit of a gap, so you will run a bit and then do the shoulder. So there is a legit mix-up here where you can punish them if they try to interrupt. Once they, and the reward is actually, like you see, the reward is actually really, really big on this. So if I manage to get this again, you get a medium punch conversion, so you actually do get a full combo. So there is a good thing here going for her regarding this run stop thing. Once he stopped interrupting, you can then stop and then maybe throw them after. You can absolutely blaze this game, and because she does have a really good plus frames on her normals, you can cheese here a lot with that stuff. So this is pretty strong. The other really important thing about this is that you can do the medium to, if you manage to get the medium to medium, you can rank into the run V skill, and this is a very good knockdown, like I said earlier, and I believe I said multiple times during this guide. This is one of your best combo enders. So this is really strong as well, and the run into kick is her only way of getting a meterless knockdown out of the crouching medium kick. Because you can do this and you're getting good corner carry, you're getting good damage, and you are getting still decent positioning in a way, especially if you're in the corner. If you're in the corner, this is good corner carry and this is good combo potential overall. So all three of these are good in their own ways. They are all really useful. The EX versions are interesting. Each one of them are really good actually. The EX version of the run gets faster and you get enhanced versions out of the run. So one cool thing about the EX run is that if you do like heavy punch into EX run stop, this is actually completely safe. As you can see, this is -2, so your opponent can't even interrupt you at all. You got to close the distance and be completely safe. So this is the very first part. So the stop is better. You are stopping sooner than you would earlier, which makes it safe. The shoulder, instead of the shoulder, she will do this elbow attack, and this puts them in a knockdown juggle state. As you can see, they are gonna knock down, so you can combo whatever you want. You wanna combo an uppercut, you can go for resets like that, and if you do a reset like this one, she'll be +8, so you will get another combo going. So this is gonna set up a lot of her combos and a lot of her mix-ups, because you can absolutely set up some cool stuff here, or might even do something like this, you know, shimmy, or you know, go for the legit throw here. It's a very good position and a very good situation. You can use this and then combo into the run up kicks. You can do whatever you want at this point. And this, the best thing about this is that this also combos from her crouching medium. So if you happen to land this, you can always buffer this here, as you can see, and this land, and voila, you get the run into shoulder, and you get good positioning and damage. Does a lot of corner carry, and also if you happen to land a heavy kick, you can get this out, like even maximum range heavy kick, you can get this to combo, and now you carry to almost, you know, half screen or full screen. The other one is the EX run into up kick. This is good because this puts you much closer to them, even on back rise. So even if Ryu here is doing a back rise, I want him to be outside of the corner. Now we are getting some okay situations. Now we get to throw them afterward. The regular one, if you see the same knockdown, they are really far away, but out of the EX one, you're in position to throw. So if you want to put yourself in a situation where you can guarantee a throw, this is actually really good. You can do this, and now you are in a throw miss situation. And of course, lastly but not the least, the run into V skill. The run into V skill is pretty good because again you are building V gauge. This is good for V trigger activation. This combo from the crouching medium kick, it is excellent. One thing I believe I forgot to mention earlier is that the run into V skill is also super cancelable actually. So when you're doing something like this, this is your best super cancel option. You can do run into run V skill 1, and this is a pretty strong V skill, you know, or super cancel option. Overall, her special moves are all pretty easy to use once you have a good understanding about how you can use them. The juggle properties are a little bit weird. The only thing that I find really strange about Lucia is her juggle properties, but once you get used to them, you will understand how the flow is going and what you're supposed to be doing. She's a pretty straightforward character for the most part. The final special move she has is of course the Tatsus, the Fire Spinner. And these are good in their own ways because these are -4 only. They have good range. By themselves, they have decent range. You can fish with them out of crouching medium kick, so maximum range crouching medium kick into this. It's gonna be pretty much safe. You can use it in block strings if you want. So you can do something like this. And this is gonna be safe for the most part. The heavy and light and medium are all -4. The EX version is -2 and it puts them in a juggle state. Overall, the fire spinner is a shake move. It's something that you will wanna shake them with this. Just make sure that you are spacing this right so you are safe. And on hits you are neutral. So a lot of Lucia players like doing this. The medium one is +2, so you can actually get something here. But the thing about the medium is that it doesn't combo from her crouching medium kick. So this is not a combo. You can only combo into the medium from the heavy button, so you can then get a throw after. But if you are gonna do this, you might as well do the run shoulder. But this is a thing. This is a thing. You're still gonna be unsafe, and if you're canceling from a heavy, you are gonna be punished on block if they manage to block this. So, for the low shake, you wanna use the light one, but you are neutral after that. It's not a very advantageous position. The EX version is really good though, because it puts them in a juggle state. You can combo a heavy kick uppercut afterwards, and all of these can be used to throw bait your opponent. But if you are going for the throw bait, I would actually recommend just going straight for the EX version, because this is a safe one and you get the most reward in hit. If I do the medium or let's have him quick rise. If you do the medium or the light, you don't get much and you are really unsafe, very close to them. The heavy, you kinda get rewarded, but at -4 point blank, it's still too risky, especially when you can do something like your heavy punch. The EX is the better option here in my opinion. If you wanna do this, and I don't really recommend it because she already have a really good shimmy. If you are hella intent on doing this, go for the heavy version, it is the best one. So now I'm going to talk about Lucia's V-triggers, and I'm gonna start with V-trigger 1. V-trigger 1 is a power-up state V-trigger. It is a 3 bars V-trigger, so it kinda is, it's unfortunate in this state. But the thing about this is, like we said earlier, because Lucia can comfortably combo into her V-skill, like we're seeing, you do have ways of building your V-bar. So if you are using this a lot, you can actually get a decent amount of V gauge here. So it is not bad in that regard. The thing about this though, and what it does is, it puts Lucia in a power-up state, and all of her kick specials become enhanced. They become the EX versions of themselves. So the uppercut will be the typical EX uppercut. The Tatsu will be her regular EX Tatsu. And you get the point. The same for the fireballs. Like the EX fireballs will bounce on the ground like that. The V-trigger fireballs are the same. It's a very straightforward V-trigger. Honestly, there is not much to talk about it in regard to something specials. I wanted to mention the V-trigger activations and which ones are the ones I do think are really good. The best one in my opinion is this. This is very strong. This is very good. On hit you're still getting really good damage. On block you're still in throw range. You can also do the target combo into V-trigger activation, and this leaves you in a good position. You're gonna be +6, so you can get something going here. You can do V-skill into activation, but this is only +1, so it's not terrific. You can do sweep, of course, into V-trigger, and this is also gonna leave you in a +3 situation. These are the best activations, but by far the better one, in my opinion, is this. Because even on hit, you do get something really good here. This is gonna be used for burst damage, this is gonna be used for comebacks. It's basically, it doesn't give Lucia new tools, but it makes her better at what she already does. So if you manage to land a hit, typically you're gonna do something like this, and this is all you get meterless, but now you can get something like this meterless, which is a lot better. It's a very straightforward V-trigger, honestly. There's not much to talk about here, but it is pretty good. It does what it does. I wouldn't say it is a great or good V-trigger, but it's functional. It powers her up enough. You can actually get some wicked combos with this, especially in the corner because of the EX fireballs. So in the corner you can actually get to do stuff like that, and you know, get massive combos here. So you do actually get some really high damage out of it, but it's just a combo V-trigger. Not much else in terms of utility. The cool thing that I have to talk about though is that the EX V skill, again, this being a highlight, it does have a lot of corner carry, and if you manage to land this, you can juggle an uppercut, which is very good. Overall, it's a pretty standard V-trigger, pretty vanilla, but functional. So now I'm going to talk about Lucia's V-Trigger 2. V-Trigger 2 is a 2 bars V-Trigger, and just like V-Trigger 1, it is mostly a combo extension V-Trigger, but it doesn't enhance her special moves. What it does is that it gives her this new attack. This is done by pressing the V-Trigger button, or, you know, heavy punch and heavy kick. This attack is pretty great because you can special cancel out of it, so you can cancel it into specials just like that, or the Tatsu, the Fireball. You can cancel it into whatever you want, and you can also cancel into it from any normal, so you can do sweep into the batons, you can do heavy kick into it, whatever you want, V-skill into it. You can do whatever you want at this point. This is good because it allows Lucia to have conversions from spaces and normals she normally wouldn't be able to. So for example, out of a standing heavy kick, you can actually get something like that now, which is really good. This is nice, right? This is so much better than just getting a standard heavy kick. You can also get a lot more now out of your target combo. Now we are getting a ton. You are getting a lot more out of combos into V skills. So for example, if you're doing this, now you will get something like that, and you get a ton of damage. You can even almost corner carry them wall to wall with this. So if you do something like this, I hope just I don't fail it. I really want to get this one down. That was almost wall to wall. So you do get a ton of corner carry on this, a ton of damage. You will get about 2 special moves out of these. So you're getting 2 of these. It buffs many aspects of Lucia, but also only 2 of them are kinda disappointing. And the V-trigger activations are not great because you cannot V-trigger activate out of this. Your best V-trigger activations here are gonna be V-skill or sweep. These are gonna be your best V-trigger activation, but it's alright. It's honestly an alright V-skill because at least you are now getting some decent damage out of even your jab confirms. Like you see with 1 bar, you are getting decent damage. It's an alright V-trigger. It's decent, but I do think the better activations of V-trigger 1 is stronger, and V-trigger 1 does give you. It gives you a huge meterless burst damage. You can get combos up to 500 plus with V-trigger 1. Here, yeah, you can get something like this, which is nice. You're still getting good damage, but overall, honestly, they are both playable. Like, this comes down to preference. I personally prefer V-trigger 1 because Lucia, the thing is, this is useful, yeah, but outside of the jab and target combo confirms, I don't think her heavy kick, or it's mainly gonna be the heavy kick. Honestly, it's mainly gonna be this that you are gonna wanna cancel from. It's a pretty decent V-trigger. It's all come down to preference. In all honesty, you cannot really go wrong with either. Neither of them are amazing options, and neither of them are terrible options. If you wanna play V-trigger 1, that's fine. If you wanna play V-trigger 2, it's completely fine. Now, before I leave you with combos, there are a couple of things I wanted to talk about first. The first one is Lucia's throw game, because Lucia actually have some decent throw game, in my opinion. Her throw range is nice, and she does have a good checks on wake up. So for example, if we here set Ryu to wake up recover, you can meet you with standing heavy punch because you are +7. The range is kinda close, so you can check him with something like this, and you are getting good damage on that one. If he doesn't, you can kind of wait, see the throw whiff or the normal whiff, You can kind of also throw loops this in the corner. It is one effective throw loop in the corner. Of course, it's not a real throw loop, so you're not gonna, if your opponent wake up with buttons like you just seen, you know, they will hit you out of it. But then again, you can meet it with a standing heavy if you want, and this is pretty good. You're gonna be doing a lot of this with Lucia, honestly. It's a pretty good thing. Then you get a target corner combo, and then you are getting a ton of damage here. So her throw game, especially in the corner, is really good, and even mid screen, it's decent because you get standing heavy punch to shake them. Her back throw is tremendous. Back throw is 150 damage, 200 stun. This is a lot. It's a lot of damage and it's really good stun. Having 200 stun on a back throw is very, very good. So this means that a lot of times, Lucia, you are gonna run into situations like I'm just gonna show you. You will be doing a lot of this. Back throw, done, the stun, and then getting a really big combo on them. And this enables you to do a ton of damage. So her throw options and throw game are both really, really good. Both the forward and back throw are really good. Use the back throw if you're about to stun them. It is very, very strong in this regard. And also it's very good at ending rounds because of the 150 damage. Excellent stuff. The two other things I wanted to mention is that Lucia have an air target combo. You do the medium punch into heavy punch. This is decent if your opponent is jumping in and you meet them air to air. It's not bad for that. It's something that you can use. You can just use the first part and then juggle a DB after it. So it is something that's worth mentioning. But most characters in Street Fighter V has the jumping mediums that put the opponent in juggle state. Nothing that special, but I wanted to mention it because I haven't mentioned it earlier. And of course you can juggle into V-skill. And now what remains are two things. The first, and this is actually kind of cute. Lucia is one of the characters who have different taunts. So if you just press all of your buttons and normal heavy, punches and kicks, which is cute. If you do that while pressing forward, she will do a different taunt. She will say different lines, and that's really cute. I find that to be really, really cute. Overall, Lucia is a pretty great character in my opinion. She's really, really fun. I wish she was a little bit better, and I could easily address some things here and there to make her a lot better. What is left to talk about is the critical art. This is 8 frames. The initial kick is 8 frames, and the range is not fantastic. So you will mostly be using this for combos, specifically out of V-skills, out of front V-skill, and maybe out of tatsus like that, maybe out of fireballs. It's at -8, it's not gonna punish many things, especially because the range is kinda weak. The range on the initial hit is pretty short in my opinion. But the animation is sick, so there is that. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like and comment if you have. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't, and stay safe.